Well, thank you for staying. Let's bring you some updates in the news this morning. Now, she was staring death in the face after being diagnosed with a life-threatening brain aneurysm. But after Joy News brought her story to light, help arrived just in time. That's a 6-year-old midwife, Rebecca Odakwe, whose desperate call for support was aired on Joy News weeks ago, now has a renewed chance at life and at returning to the delivery room, thanks to benevolent individuals and the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, popularly known as Mahama Cares. Joy News' Ramat Bushiru reports.
It's not been easy. Right from when I started seeing my family, and then they have to explain everything to me. I didn't expect this at all.
Rebecca Odakwe had devoted her life to caring for expectant mothers, but her own life was thrown into uncertainty when doctors diagnosed her with a brain aneurysm and warned that only urgent surgery could save her. The procedure came with a staggering cost of 210,840 Ghana cedis, an amount her family could not raise on their own.
It's not been easy. Right from when I started seeing my family, and then they have to explain everything to me. I didn't expect this at all, but today hope has come.
After Joy News told her story, support began to pour in from the public. Benevolent individuals raised 17,000 Ghana cedis to support her treatment. Still, the amount fell far short of what was needed. Relief finally came when the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, also known as Mahama Cares, intervened. The fund fully paid for Rebecca's surgery at Eurocare Hospital, settling the entire 210,840 Ghana cedis medical bill. According to the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, the funds raised earlier have been set aside to support her post-surgery care and recovery.
We are putting in place the administrative structures and operationalization framework so that we can have a seamless system. But while we are doing that, we decided to start with a pilot phase approved by the board, which is just used to test our systems, patient onboarding, claim submission, reimbursement, just to test the system before we roll out completely by the end of the first quarter. So once we saw the story, we just looked through and we noticed that yes, indeed, we had received an application from the said patient from the hospital's letterhead, and then we were able to reach out to the media house that put out the story. That was Joy. We were able to reach out to the patient, we reached out to the hospital, and we were able to process and make the decision, and we are here to do the donation.
Ghana Medical Trust Fund showed appreciation to President Mahama and encouraged others to support the trust fund.
We are thankful to the President for this vision, and this would be a game changer as far as specialized medical care is concerned. Encourage all individuals, particularly corporate Ghana, to support this fund. Government makes an allocation, but as you can see, the bills of patients are very high, that more funds will be needed to be able to reach as many patients as possible.
What began as a story of fear and uncertainty has now become a story of hope and second chances. With her surgery secured and recovery support in place, Rebecca Odakwe is optimistic about returning to the work she loves, helping bring new life into the world. Ramat Bashiru's report, read to you.
I want to say a very big thank you to our dear President, John Dramani Mahama. I thank him so much for coming to my aid. And I also want to appreciate every single soul, my colleagues, those who didn't even know of this and have never heard of this condition, but came to my aid. My church, my family, I can never do without them. I love them so much. And thank you to Joy News. God bless you for the good work you have done.
Now, this particular excites me especially this morning, but away from health onto politics, a professor of English and linguistics at the University of Education, Winneba, has described businessman and politician Kennedy Ohene Ejapon as the ideal candidate to lead the New Patriotic Party and Ghana as the party prepares to elect its flag bearer on Saturday. According to Professor Yawse Chibedu, Mr. Ejapon's businesses and individual background positions him to prioritize job creation for the youth, an approach he believes is critical at this stage of Ghana's development.
Ahead of the NPP's presidential primary slated for Saturday, January 31, 2026, public debate continues to intensify over who is best positioned to lead the party to victory in the 2028 general elections. According to a professor of English and linguistics at the University of Education, Winneba, Professor Yawse Chibedu, Kennedy Ohene Ejapon's disciplinarian posture and firm respect for the law make him an ideal candidate to lead not only the party, but the country at large.
If you ask me, I've traveled quite a bit and talked to many people across universities, across church places and other places. And I think that Ken has a lot of support. The people are talking, and I agree with them, about the issue of the fact that they think that he can be strict and stern. Now, whilst we don't like strict and stern people, when we are going for positions with people who are strict and stern, who can let the laws work, who can let discipline prevail.
He also argues that Ghana's current economic and social challenges demand a leader with a strong business and industrial background, someone he believes will place job creation for the youth at the center.
The other reason I hear people say, which I endorse also, is the fact that he's a different leader. Too many scholars, too many academics occupying such positions. Can we change and have an industrialist, somebody who makes profits, who employs and who makes losses, so they can run this country as a business, not his own business, but the country's business. So for all these, and then the fact that he's shown the acumen for job creation, he hasn't done all things. I hear somebody asking, he can't do all things. But he has shown evidence that he knows what can be done. He has done some before. He knows what is possible that we can do at many places that he has visited. For those reasons, people think that it would be better to have him as president, to have a different kind of leadership that can address our problems as a country of indiscipline, laws not working well, or productivity.
Professor Beidu further referenced public perceptions surrounding Dr. Mahama Bawumia, while stressing that a loss for Kennedy Ejapon in the upcoming primaries will carry significant implications for the party.
If Ken doesn't win, it will mean the NPP hasn't done enough on their campaign to establish the truth in what accusations are being laid against Ken, and to excuse where it is possible, and to say that beyond all this behavioral issue, the issue of a president who can carry the country where it should be. That's the most important.
From Winneba, Abigail Lisal Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Now, political endorsements continue to roll in ahead of the New Patriotic Party's internal primaries. On Saturday, a coalition of patriotic intellectuals and the NPP professional groups have officially thrown their support behind Dr. Mahama Bawumia as the party's preferred flag bearer for the 2020 general elections. Our correspondent, Inathalia Konsa, was at the press briefing and has brought this report.
The Patriotic Intellectuals of Ghana, the National Association of TESCON patrons for Bawumia, TESCON members and other professional groups within the MPP have formally endorsed Dr. Bawumia as the party's candidate for the 2028 election. In a statement, the group highlighted Dr. Bawumia's track record as Vice President of Ghana and Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, noting his experience in economic management and governance as key reasons for their support.
Convene in a spirit of patriotic duty and steadfast commitment to the progress of our beloved nation and hereby wish to express our strongest endorsement for the candidature of Dr. Mahama Bawumia as the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party in the upcoming internal primary scheduled for 31st January 2026. We wholeheartedly support his candidature as the most suitable candidate to lead our party into the 2028 general elections and ultimately to serve Ghana as its president.
Beyond his technical expertise, the endorsements praised Dr. Bawumia for his humility, approachability, and ability to unite Ghanaians across regional and religious divides. The group said these qualities make him the ideal leader to guide the party and the nation into the future.
It is also noteworthy that Dr. Bawumia maintains an unblemished record free from factional control or corruption scandals. His reputation as incorruptible and credible leader, combined with his demonstrated resilience during his 8-year tenure as vice president and his continued service following the 2024 electoral challenges, further solidifies his capacity to lead Ghana into a prosperous future.
Away from that, Lancaster University Ghana, in partnership with the KGL Foundation, has successfully concluded its 8-week Emerging Technology Center bootcamp, a transformative hands-on learning program designed to introduce young people to emerging technologies and practical innovation. The bootcamp brought together over 30 senior high school students from 10 underserved and international schools. The program offered participants the chance to explore the fundamentals of robotics, microcontrollers, and smart systems development. There's more in the following report.
The pilot program trained over 100 high school students across 32 cohorts, exposing them to artificial intelligence, robotics, the Internet of Things, blockchain technology, and the use of microcontrollers to develop practical real-world solutions. Dr. Iman Olatha, Provost and Acting CEO of Lancaster University Ghana, says, as technology continues to shape the future, early exposure is critical in preparing the next generation.
These are students who don't have any science background, and yet they found the program very, very useful. So the first thing we wanted to do is to demystify technology and make it that irrespective of your background, it is possible for you to get involved in these new technologies, emerging technologies. Secondly, it's our give back to society. I think that we owe an obligation to the next generation of children that costs or money shouldn't be a determination of their access.
For the KGL Foundation, which supported the initiative, nurturing young talents with cutting-edge technology remains a top priority. Edwin Osmonamte, public relations lead for the foundation, shared insights on the organization's support.
If you look at the foundation's key thematic areas, we have 5, being arts and culture, health, education, sports, youth empowerment, and entrepreneurship. It actually cuts across 2 or 3 main focus areas, and it aligns perfectly with what the foundation wants to churn out. That's a Ghanaian community that is well developed. It's growing initiatives to solve home problems.
Some of the students who took part also shared their experiences and showcased the projects they developed during the program.
The project was a baby suitor. It must be able to detect baby cries, send notice to the mother, and also sing lullaby for the baby. We did this because we got to know that most parents are afraid or scared whenever they hear their baby cry because they don't know what actually is wrong with their baby.
We made a project known as Sign Aloud. And Sign Aloud is a software that converts hand signs to speech. So this is mainly for people who use sign language to communicate, or mainly for deaf people who can't communicate with people like us. So they have to use sign language.
Supported by the KGL Foundation, the program is set to expand with plans to provide seed funding to help students further develop and commercialize their promising ideas. The Emerging Technologies Weekend Immersive Program is part of Lancaster University Ghana's wider effort to expand access to STEM education and inspire the next generation of innovators.
Economist Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie has welcomed the Bank of Ghana's decision to cut the monetary policy rate to 15.5%, predicting it will boost private sector growth. He believes the reduction is expected to lower borrowing costs for businesses and households, stimulating investment and economic activity. Speaking on the impact of the rate cut, Dr. Sarkodie noted that the move signals economic recovery on a positive trajectory. He emphasized the need for the government and the central bank to consolidate gains made towards easing inflation further downward.
Well, if the cost of lending is lowered, you'd expect an increment in the private sector credit growth. So we hope to see a positive growth in the private sector credit. The areas to benefit most also will align with the government's vision. We saw the agricultural transformation agenda of the government, so we expect farmers to benefit from a lower lending rate. We also know of the manufacturing policies of the government. We know of mining. We know of tourism. In fact, all sectors of the economy are likely to benefit from this a possible lower lending rate. So we just have to position our country. One thing that we always stress as an economist is that our country, our economy is still vulnerable. We have to develop the base. And I was happy to hear from your intro that the President of the Republic is thinking of, having 100% ownership of the gold exports in the country, which is something we have been talking about for years. Gold alone accounts for 65% of our total exports and is more than Ghana's total revenue and grants. So if we're able to command a greater share of our resources, then we are good to go. So this is positive, and I believe that all sectors of the economy will benefit going forward.
Also, Chairman of the Advisory Board of the African Trade Chamber, Sir Sam Jonah, has charged African leaders to engineer policies to make the continent selfish in its development agenda. Speaking at the opening of the Africa Trade Summit, the business mogul said, with the vast resources on the continent, raw materials and minerals should not be exported without value addition.
Ladies and gentlemen, Africa, with its 1.4 billion people, with its vast resources and youthful dynamism, is no weakling. We are the emerging force that can redefine the table, or we will risk being served upon it. This is the moment for Africa to be selfish, unapologetically so, boldly selfish in pursuing our interests. No more deference to distant agendas, no more exporting raw material potential while importing finished dependency. Selfish means prioritizing Africa first, beneficiating our minerals on African soil, processing our agriculture into global grants, manufacturing pharmaceuticals that secure our health sovereignty. Selfish means demanding fair terms in every deal, rejecting exploitation disguised as aid, and leveraging our collective weight to negotiate from strength. Kani urged middle powers to stop pretending about the other's flaws, to name realities and act. Africa, let us name it. The old world profited from our fragmentation. The new world demands our unity. Let's be selfish, yes, but in a way that uplifts all Africans, creating jobs that dignify, wealth that recirculates, and futures that inspire.
That's how we wrap up the news for this morning, but shortly after me will be commodities and sports updates.